What I love most about multifamily is that it's a team sport. There's partnerships. And today we're going to go into the partnership structure.
So for a syndication business, right, the syndication business model, when you really boil it down, right, you want to use leverage other people's money and take on investors to get a larger asset than you really could do just by yourself, right? Now think about that. You're getting kind of two different types of other people's money here. You've got leverage from the bank, and you've got investors that are working with you to come in and take a deal down. And then you manage this investment as part of a team, right? So not only are you leveraging other people's money, but you're leveraging the skills of your team as well. So it's a massive team sport for taking down one of these multifamily properties. And just to get into the legal structure just a little bit, right? The property that you buy is typically purchased in a limited partnership, and that's an entity that's set up to own the property. And then limited partners, or your passive investors, right? They all own a piece of that of that partnership. And at the same time, the general partners, which is actually the sponsorship team, this is your team that's actually going and putting together the deal, finding the deal, raising the money, doing all the work for it. That's the general partnership. That could be a single person if they want to take all that on, but it's typically done as a team, right? So that's kind of the legal partnership structure. When you do this as this structure, you're protected, and it's also very conducive to the team environment.
That's the syndication business model.
So yeah, powerful use of other people's money right here. So just to kind of get into the structure just a little bit more, right? So you can create them as a limited partnership or a limited liability company, and these are to own the property on behalf of the investors and to create that shield that I was talking about, that clean entity that protects investors from any liabilities beyond the target property, right? So let's think about some of the protections we talked about already. We've got non-recourse loans, right? We're protecting us, in the event of default. We've got separate business entities, right, that are protecting us in the event of liability, lawsuits, anything going wrong where someone's gonna get sued, right? We've got protection here in these business entities. In the syndication, the asset is always identified, before the purchase, and then money is raised for the opportunity, right? When you do a fund, it's actually a little bit different. In a fund structure, then you raise the money first, and then go after properties with that fund money. So in either case, however, you always use these protective structures to protect investors and protect yourself. You've done a lot of hard work. You don't want to let anything happen to this property.
Yes.
And then, so once you do find a property, right, you make an offer, it gets accepted, you perform the due diligence, and you figure out the financing, right? Then you go ahead and you circulate a PPM, a private placement memorandum. And what this is where you start to set up the actual funds, the actual business structure, right? This is where the investors can look at your PPM and see how it's set up. They can see, the details and specifics of the property, the terms of the investment, how much the minimum that I have to put in, what the returns are projected to be, how much money the sponsors are putting in, any of the fees, any of the payout and distribution details. There's a whole lot of information that you want to put into this PPM, and it's going to be, you want to put in a lot of good information too, all the good work you're going to do on the property, all the projections that you think you can do in 5 years. So this is a great document. Tends to be like one of the first things that your investors see when you start to distribute all this property detail. So it's definitely an important piece of the puzzle.
As I was saying before, multifamily is a team game. It's a team sport. You got, finding the deals, you got underwriting the deals, you got raising money for these deals, right? You got closing and managing the property once you've bought the property. All of those things are a lot of work. But when everybody comes together, each person does a specific task, right? A single task. You all come together, each doing those single tasks. You then create a team atmosphere, a team energy, right? And that team energy allows you to go after these 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, 25 million, $30 million deals, right? So many of the most successful multifamily sponsors are teams. Like they don't do it alone. It's not one person going and buying a deal. He has a team. They have teams. They have teams of people that go and buy these deals. And it's just finding people who have complementary skill sets. Like, so for me, I like construction. I like going out and finding deals. I like building relationships with people, right? But, Brian loves analyzing deals, right? Brian loves the numbers. Brian will dig in and spend more time in numbers than I would ever want to, right? So great. I'm going to partner with Brian. Let Brian dig into the numbers. I'll focus on what I'm good at. And that's going out and finding properties and building relationships and communicating with people. And we can come together and create a great partnership. And then we got Ronnie. Ronnie's great at raising money. So it's building a team of people around you so that you can all be successful. And yes, this is a full-time job, but once you start getting some of the stuff off the ground and you build a system around it, it can be a semi-passive a business model for many people, including myself. So this is how it would break down. So you have your GP sponsorship team. And then you'd have all of these people that would make up the GP sponsors team, right? You'd have your rehabber, you have your syndicator, you have the guy who has experience, right? You have a person that puts at-risk capital down. So like when you go and buy and get one of these multifamily deals under contract, right? You have to put down at-risk capital as your EMD, your deposit, for them to take it off the market. So that means like if you were to back out for no reason at all, you're going to lose that EMD money, your at-risk capital. So you have to either you as the sponsor has to have that, or you have to bring another team member that has capital, that has capital that is willing to take on some risk, right? Then you need an asset manager, someone who's going to manage the property manager, manage the big picture vision for the property. Then you're going to need someone who's going to negotiate the deals. So like when you're talking with the broker and when you're talking with the bank and the lender, right? You're going to need someone to negotiate that deal for you. You need money raisers. If you need to raise $5 million for a $15 million, $20 million deal, right? Like, are you going to do it all on your own, or are you going to break it down into 10 people raising 500 grand? Or are you going to do, so you're going to need money raisers. You need sweat equity, someone who's going to go on site and put some sweat equity into the property. I mean, for me, like that's how I originally got into real estate, is by putting sweat equity into it, right? I was managing the construction, being a part of the rehab crew, right? But it got me my first property. It got me my first property renovated, and then it got me my first property cash flowing. And then you need deal finders and deal analyzers, and all of these people would make up the GP team. And it could be 10 people, or it could be 3 people that do all of these different tasks. But these are the tasks that need to be done to make a successful GP team. So then the GP team would then roll up here under the limited partnership, right? And then on the other side, you'd have your limited partners. These are your passive investors. So there's limitless possibilities of how your team would look. It could be a number of things. It could be 2 people doing all this work, or it could be 10 people doing all this work. I want to remind you, everybody has their own superpower. Everybody has something that they're really good at. Everybody has something that just resonates with them, a space that they live in every single day. Like I live in construction. I live in the uncertainty of construction. Brian loves numbers. Brian lives in numbers and data. So let Brian do what he's really good at. That's his superpower. And let me do what I'm good at. And that's being in the uncertain environment of construction. It's a team game. So focus on what you're good at. Focus 100% of your energy on what you're good at.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Oliver. I don't think this would work if I was also a construction guy and we're kind of both trying to run in the construction at the same time, right? I think that's the most important thing is, you got to find the complementary skill sets, right? And then you can focus 100% of your energy on where you're most skilled, right? And just by doing that, your team's going to have the most success, right? That's what it's all about, is finding that complementary skill set.
Exactly. And then finding the complementary skill set, recruiting those people to be on your team, to be on your side, to be your partners, right? And then you go and take down big deals together, right? That's what it's all about. For building freedom for yourself, building freedom for your family, building freedom for your community.